Foodies pretend to be mourners so they can go to a funeral home to try their delicious noodles. Tooth fairy payouts have dropped to the lowest rate in many years, and the court forces a movie theater to pay for the mental agony of having to watch too many advertisements. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast recorded by a comedian inside a closet. Foodies are posing as mourners to go to this funeral home and try its noodles. Foodies in China have reportedly been flocking to this unlikely destination. It's a funeral home. This is after its noodles went completely viral on social media. Wow, I mean, if this funeral home serves up some good nudes, imagine how great the restaurants are in China. Got some questions here, though. Why is a funeral home making noodles? Never been to that kind of funeral. This dish is catered to customers of the Erlong Funeral Home in the southwestern province of Guizhou. But as word began to spread about its noodles, the funeral home began attracting hordes of diners, with some posing as mourners just to try the delicious food. Erlong Funeral Home has since announced it will allow some members of the public to eat at its premises as long as they do not disturb the genuine mourners. I mean, at this point, you're kind of a restaurant that does funerals on the side now, aren't you? I mean, you might have to go that route, though. If your nudes are this good, like, be like, yeah, we're a noodle shop, but also you can have a funeral here, and you can get the delicious noodles while you're mourning. All right, now as far as their noodle dishes go, the funeral home offers various types during breakfast and supper hours. They're serving all day nudes. And it costs 10 won per bowl, which is about $1.38. Wow, cheap and delicious. You just, you're going to have to eat next to a stiff. Maybe. Hey, let's hope they don't make these nudes in the embalming room. Now, it says the most popular type of noodles is reportedly the noodles topped with minced pork and peanuts. One Erlong funeral employee told the news that they, quote, only served customers who come to the funeral home to handle matters. What does that mean? I assume that means if you know or are related to the deceased. But other people have been sneaking in, this employee says, to get a bowl of noodles, adding that sometimes queues at Erlong are so long that diners sometimes have to wait a couple hours to get their food. Wow. This guy says, there have been people pretending to be relatives of the deceased. It's very difficult to tell them apart when it gets crowded, and it's very hard to manage. Imagine showing up and pretending that you're related to the deceased just to get some nudes, and then you got to fake cry for a little while to make it seem genuine. Although, I mean, if I got to wait 2 hours for my noodles, they're going to be real tears for sure. All right, in order to meet the demands of their funeral home noodles, they have since decided to offer 50 bowls of noodles to members of the public every day for free. Wow, for free. Amazing. As long as they, quote, do not affect people's mournings. So you can't just come in and slurp all loud, all right, and disturb the mourners. You can't eat your noodles and be happy either, probably, because that might disturb the mourning. You have to eat your noodles very sadly and very somberly and cry in your bowl if you can manage it. Now, the article goes on to say that the craze for these funeral home noodles appeared to have begun earlier this month when a social media user posted about the dish while visiting a friend in Guizhou, which is known for its spicy and sour dishes. One user on social media posted a video of the long line at the funeral home for these noodles, and they wrote, I thought about how short life is, and so I got another bowl. Wow, this is really amazing and weird. I would totally go to a funeral home and try their noodles if they're this good. I would just go to eat noodles at a funeral home that serves noodles just to do that, whether the noodles are good or not. It's just a weird experience. Totally do it. I'm into very weird food experiences, if possible. One time I was brought to a secret coffee shop in Singapore that's actually in people's apartment. It's like you go to an apartment complex. It was so bizarre, but it was amazing coffee. I love stuff like this. Now, I don't think I have any listeners over in China. I don't even think my podcast is legal in China to be released. But if you happen to be hearing it over there or you're visiting, go to the funeral nudes place. Funeral nudes, the nudes that taste so lively. Funeral nudes, eat it next to a dead body. Tooth fairy payouts dropped to the lowest in many years. Even the tooth fairy is pinching pennies these days. Yeah, because of the price of eggs. Tooth fairy can't afford eggs. So, so Tooth Fairy is dropping the rates, dropping the payouts for the teeth. Is everybody aware of the Tooth Fairy? I mean, I have people listening in other countries. I'm not sure I don't know if this is just an American, European thing. But I guess in case it is, it's custom if a child loses a tooth to put it underneath the pillow. And this fictitious Tooth Fairy, well, there could be kids listening. Hold on. And this Tooth Fairy, the Tooth Fairy comes, it's a real fairy. It glides along on a cloud and comes down your chimney. No, I mean that's Santa down the chimney. The Tooth Fairy comes in through the washer and dryer vent. The dryer vent. That's where the Tooth Fairy comes in, and Tooth Fairy has a magic wand and touches the pillow while you're sleeping, and then takes your tooth and leaves some money under there. And leaves about as much as your parents can, the Tooth Fairy can afford, which is apparently not a lot these days. Now, you're probably wondering how low are the rates for the lost teeth these days? Well, for the second year in a row, an annual Delta Dental survey found the Tooth Fairy is paying less for lost teeth than the year before. The average value of a single lost tooth declined by 14%. This is from $5.84 to $5.01, according to the survey of 1,000 parents of children ages 6 to 12. That's a lot more than I got for a tooth. I got $1. Kids get $5 a tooth nowadays? Wow. Unbelievable. It's so great to be a kid these days, isn't it? Parents don't tell you the words no, maybe, or perhaps anymore. Just give you whatever you want. And if you're not feeling happy, you can just take a pill, and now you're happy. It's just great being a kid. Unless you live in Florida, then it's horrific. In 2023, the value of a single tooth reached a record high when it was $6.23 a tooth. Ooh, boy, that's a hefty price for a tooth. Yes, it says, but despite the decline, the average cash gift per tooth increased 285% from 1998, when a lost tooth fetched $1.30 on average, according to this research group. Yeah, back when I was a kid, it was $1. I mean, some kids would get that gold dollar. You guys are familiar with the gold coin dollar that we offer here? I haven't seen one in a very long time, but I'm not even sure they exist, but used to have them. This year, maybe even the Tooth Fairy could put some eggs under the pillows. That'd be pretty sweet. Wouldn't your kids like some eggs? Does anyone know if there's a correlation between your Tooth Fairy and the behavior of your child? I'm just going to... Some parents out there, does your Tooth Fairy give more money if your child's been good lately? Or do you, I'm curious to know what your Tooth Fairy practices are. I haven't had any kids that I know of, and I'm never having kids that I know of. So the Tooth Fairy won't be a part of my life going forward, I do not think, unless like in those holiday movies, someone drops a baby off in a basket at my door. Then I suppose I'd have to do all the things for the kid, like teach it how to hit a change-up and run a wheel route. The important things that kids need to learn in life. Okay, back to Tooth Fairy stuff. It's not every day that you hear the Tooth Fairies talked about on a podcast, is it? We have Tooth Fairy's 2025 rate by region. Okay, depending on where you happen to lose your teeth. Lost teeth in the South had the highest value this year at $5.71, the only region to experience a year-over-year increase, according to this survey. So pretty good to lose your teeth in the South. The West had the second highest value at $5.69 a tooth, but experienced a significant 33% drop year over year for a lost tooth. The Northeast average was $4.59, down from $6.87 last year. It's the first time the rate fell below $5 per tooth since 2020. Psh. The Midwest significantly trails the national average and had the lowest value of a lost tooth at $3.46. Tooth fairies, they're really getting pinched by inflations in the Midwests. All right, there's some more Tooth Fairy-related statistics, but this is really boring the crap out of me. So I just Googled some Tooth Fairy similar traditions from around the world. The United States, lose a tooth, put it under your pillow, poof, the next morning you wake up with a wad of cash. Not so much. India, China, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. The children in many Asian countries toss their teeth around, literally. Instead of hiding their teeth under a pillow, A child throws it onto the roof. If they lose a tooth from their upper jaw, it gets hidden beneath the floor. Just for extra measure, they'll make a wish for, you guessed it, the tooth of a mouse to replace their missing one. That's very strange. Who wants a tooth of a mouse? That's not going to cut through steak, will it? In Middle Eastern countries, it says the kids are told to toss their teeth up toward the sky. That way their tooth will grow back. This tradition dates back to the 13th century. Okay. In Spanish-speaking countries like Spain, Mexico, Peru, Chile, Argentina, we have Ratoncito Perez, a.k.a. Raton Perez, is the mouse who collects teeth. While most of us would be panicked seeing a mouse running around the house, for many Spanish-speaking countries, Raton will leave a gift in exchange for your pearly whites. Wow, so they got a mouse theme as well. In Mongolia, this is a weird one, breaking from the tradition of gift-giving and magical beings collecting the baby teeth, Mongolians traditionally put teeth inside fat and then feed it to their dog. This is because they want the child's adult tooth to be as strong as a dog's tooth. So it all makes sense, guys. Now, if you live in a place where you have a strange tooth fairy related tradition, please call and tell me or email me. I'd be fascinated to learn what it might be. It's 646-450-2012, and the email's funnyjones@gmail.com.
Your data is like gold to hackers. They're selling your passwords, bank details, and private messages. McAfee helps stop them. Secure VPN keeps your online activity private. AI-powered text scam detector spots phishing attempts instantly. And with award-winning antivirus, you get top-tier hacker protection. Plus, you'll get up to $2 million in identity theft coverage, all for just $39.99 for your first year. Visit McAfee.com. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
A court forces a movie chain to pay for the mental agony of showing too many advertisements. It's a common complaint among cinephiles, but how many of us have sued a movie theater for showing way too many trailers before the movie begins? Well, we have here a man in India. He has successfully won damages from the country's largest movie theater in a consumer court after he complained about having to watch too many advertisements before a movie caused him to miss important work meetings. Well, if you say the movie starts at 7, shouldn't the movie start at 7? I mean, this has been a long-going issue as far as I'm concerned, these advertisements before the movie. They're a half an hour's worth, usually. It's like 15 minutes of ads and another 15 minutes of trailers. Sporting events start on time. First pitch, 7:15, bam. First pitch is 7:15 when you go to a Major League Baseball game. Kickoff is what? I mean, why can't a movie theater stick to the times? And why do they have to show advertisements anyways? You just paid so much for a movie ticket. Tickets in the U.S. now, it's like, $17 to $20 for a movie ticket to see a movie. And then I also have to watch ads? Why? That doesn't make any sense. I hope this is a global phenomenon, by the way. We can all just sue and get some damages here for having to watch ads. Or just do away with them. What is wrong with you? I just paid $20 for popcorn. How about no ads? I enjoyed the advertisements when I was younger, because it gave me an opportunity to make out and maybe a little bit up the shirt action with my date before the movie started. But now I go to the movies alone. Mostly I'm alone. I just want to get to it. All right, let's get some details about this court ruling and in this uplifting news story. We have here in December someone named Abhishek. There's so many K's next to the H's here. Who lives in the city of Bengaluru. Oh, nailed Bengaluru, guys. I've seen Bengaluru before. I could say Bengaluru. It's actually fun to say. You should say it with me. Say it, guys. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Bengaluru. Very fun. This guy paid $10 for 3 movie tickets to see a war drama called Sam Bahadur. That's a very good price for movie tickets, man. It's like $3.33 a ticket. Very cheap over there in Bengaluru. The movie was scheduled to begin at 4:05 p.m. local time and end at 6:30 p.m. Probably even said that on the ticket, as they usually do. But do they keep to these schedules? No, they do not. The movie was delayed for nearly half an hour due to the theater playing what Abhishek called trailers, advertisements, and other fillers. He complained, according to the court ruling. The delay caused him to miss other arrangements and appointments that were scheduled for that day that were very important, resulting in losses which cannot be calculated in terms of money as a compensation. That's according to what the moviegoer told the court. He demanded $570 in compensatory damages and $60 for some mental agony. Is that because of he had to sit through those terrible advertisements? I want some mental agony pay. They're so bad. It's always movie trailers for more superhero movies that need not be made. All right, well, here we have the court's ruling, and you're not going to believe this, but the court said that the theater management's violation of the guidelines on the cost of viewers is unjust and unfair. They ordered the chain to pay the plaintiff a total of $320 in damages and $1,150 in regulatory fines. Outstanding. Here's a quote from the court ruling. Many times, viewers will rush to the theater in a big hurry, only on the reason that they are supposed to sit for watching movie at the time they mentioned in the ticket. I don't know if I understand what they said, but yay! The movie theater giant also violated regulations by playing lengthy commercials instead of government PSAs. At least we don't have to listen to government PSAs when we go to the movies. Or imagine what they play in North Korea before the movie. Oh man, imagine the movies in North Korea. They all star Kim Jong-un just being like the Terminator, I'd imagine. No, that would be funny though. Okay, so this Indian court also ruled that the movies must start as scheduled and mentioned in the ticket. There we go. I've been waiting for that for the years. Indian films are known for their long run times, which also usually include an intermission, which can be as long as 15 minutes and consists of advertisements. Here's another quote from the court. No one has the right to gain benefit out of others' time and money. The 30 minutes is way too long to sit idle in the theater and watch whatever the theater telecasts. This is great. I wish this would happen in the U.S. and that these silly movie theaters would do away with this foolishness. The cinema is losing attendance for a variety of reasons, and this is probably one of them. And it's probably one of the only factors that are leading to the low attendance at movie theaters that movie theaters can actually do something about. Like, they can't stop us from buying the most advanced, in-home movie entertainment with surround sound and all that. They can't stop us from that, but they can make this change. So, I mean, if any of you own a movie theater chain, consider the suffering that we're all going through as we wait a half an hour for the damn movie to start. All alone with no one to fondle.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does without me lifting a finger, so I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Send her with news. Roses never fade. Send her with news. Memories remain. Send her with news. How about some Steve Perry, guys? You guys into it? Anyone know Steve Perry? I want to get coffee with him. I think that would be tremendous. All right. Anyways, let's do the outro, and I'll let you get out of here. If you would like to support the show because you just lost a rich dead relative, please go to weirdafnews.com, and you can join the Patreon or buy me a coffee. Just disclaimer: I may use the coffee money on other chemicals. Maybe a shot of whiskey, something. The Patreon is something I highly recommend because it's like buying Jonesy a coffee every month, and you get access to extra weird AF content that I put inside the Patreon. For instance, bonus episodes. Isn't that cool? So cool. Also, occasionally I do the AMA videos for my patrons, which is I let all my patrons ask me questions. Ask me anything, and then I answer, and usually a very long video that's too long because I can't stop talking. I got a problem. Anyways, go to weirdafnews.com and do those things. And then listen tomorrow. That's my other thing. Listen tomorrow. I want to tell you, just listen, subscribe and listen tomorrow as I send you weird news.